I want you to stop everything you're doing right now. I mean it. Stop scrolling. Stop thinking about what you have to do later. Stop everything. Because in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to share with you something that will fundamentally change how you attract everything you've ever wanted in your life. And I'm not talking about some mystical nonsense or empty promises. I'm talking about a real, tangible shift that happens when you understand the invisible forces that have been working against you your entire life. You see, right now, as you're watching this, there's a part of your brain that's already trying to dismiss what I'm about to tell you. It's that voice that says, yeah, right, another person claiming they can change my life in 15 minutes. But here's what that voice doesn't want you to know. It's not your voice. It's the voice of every limitation that's been programmed into you since the day you were born. And today we're going to silence it. I discovered this 15 years ago when I was sleeping on my friend's couch, completely broke with nothing but a dream and a burning desire to understand why some people seem to attract success effortlessly while others struggle their entire lives. What I found shocked me. It wasn't about talent. It wasn't about luck. It wasn't even about hard work, though that plays a part. It was about understanding a simple principle that operates whether you believe in it or not. Think about this for a moment. Have you ever noticed how when you're thinking about buying a specific car, suddenly you see that car everywhere? Or when you learn a new word, you start hearing it all the time? That's not coincidence. That's your brain's reticular activating system at work. But here's where it gets interesting. That same system that makes you notice cars and words is also filtering every opportunity, every possibility, every chance for success that comes your way. And for most people, it's programmed to filter out the very things they want most. I remember standing in a grocery store, counting change to buy ramen noodles, when this realization hit me like a lightning bolt. The opportunities I wanted weren't hiding from me, I was unconsciously hiding from them. My brain was literally programmed to not see the very things that could change my life. And if you're honest with yourself right now, you'll realize the same thing is happening to you. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're wearing special glasses that only let you see certain colors. Everything else becomes invisible. Now imagine those glasses were put on you when you were a child, and you've been wearing them so long you forgot they were there. That's exactly what's happening with your perception of opportunity and success. You're walking through a world full of abundance, but your mental programming is only letting you see scarcity. The first step to attracting anything you want is understanding this. Your current reality is not the truth. It's simply a reflection of your current programming. Every struggle you're facing, every limitation you're experiencing, every reason you think you can't have what you want, these aren't facts. They're just the results of outdated software running in your mind. I need you to understand something crucial here. The universe, life, reality, whatever you want to call it, is completely neutral. It doesn't care about your past. It doesn't care about your current circumstances. It doesn't care about what anyone told you was possible or impossible. It responds only to one thing, the frequency of your thoughts and emotions. And right now, most of you are broadcasting on the frequency of lack, limitation, and fear. Think about a radio for a moment. If you want to listen to a specific station, you have to tune to that exact frequency. You can't tune to 88.5 FM and expect to hear what's playing on 101.9 FM. It's the same with your life. You can't tune to the frequency of struggle and expect to receive abundance. You can't tune to the frequency of fear and expect to receive love. You can't tune to the frequency of doubt and expect to receive certainty. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but my situation is different. You don't understand what I'm going through. And you're right. I don't know your specific situation. But I do know this. Every person who has ever transformed their life started exactly where you are right now. They started with doubt. They started with fear. They started with a voice in their head telling them it was impossible. The only difference between them and everyone else is that they learned to change their frequency. Let me share something with you that'll blow your mind. Scientists have discovered that the human heart generates an electromagnetic field that extends several feet beyond our body. This field is constantly broadcasting information about our emotional state. Other people can sense this field even if they're not conscious of it. This is why you can walk into a room and immediately feel if someone is angry or sad or joyful. Their field is broadcasting that information. But here's what most people don't realize. This field doesn't just affect other people. It affects every circumstance, every opportunity, every possibility that comes near you. When you're broadcasting fear and limitation, you're literally repelling the very things you want. It's like trying to pick up metal with a magnet that's been reversed. No matter how hard you try, it's not going to work until you flip the polarity. I want you to think about water for a moment. When you pour water into a container, it takes the shape of that container. It doesn't resist, it doesn't complain, it simply flows and adapts. The energy of the universe works the same way. It's constantly flowing, constantly moving, constantly seeking to express itself, and it will take whatever shape you give it through your thoughts and emotions. Most people are unconsciously creating containers of limitation. They're saying, I want abundance, but their container is shaped like scarcity. They're saying, I want love, but their container is shaped like loneliness. They're saying, I want success, but their container is shaped like failure. And then they wonder why they keep getting the same results. The truth is, you're already a master manifester. You're already attracting everything in your life with perfect precision. The problem is you're doing it unconsciously. You're like a person who's been driving with the parking brake on, wondering why the car won't go faster. The power is there. The engine is running. But there's an invisible force holding you back. Let me tell you about energy signatures. Everything in your life has an energy signature. Your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your expectations. And these signatures are constantly broadcasting into the field of infinite possibility. When you worry about money, you're broadcasting the energy signature of lack. When you fear rejection, you're broadcasting the energy signature of unworthiness. When you doubt your abilities, you're broadcasting the energy signature of incompetence. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The universe doesn't speak English or any other language. It only understands energy. So when you say, I don't want to be broke, the universe doesn't hear the words. It feels the energy. And the energy of I don't want to be broke is the exact same frequency as I am broke. You're focusing on broke. You're feeling broke. You're vibrating broke. So guess what you attract? This is why positive thinking alone doesn't work. You can repeat affirmations all day long, but if your energy doesn't match your words, nothing will change. It's like trying to convince someone you're happy while you're crying. The energy always tells the truth. I learned this the hard way. I spent months repeating affirmations about wealth and success while feeling desperate and afraid. And nothing changed. Actually, that's not true. Things got worse because I was creating internal conflict. My words were saying one thing, but my energy was saying another. And energy always wins. The breakthrough came when I finally understood that attraction isn't about what you want. It's about who you're being. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And what you are is determined by your dominant emotional state. Think about this. Have you ever met someone who just seems lucky? Everything they touch turns to gold. Opportunities fall into their lap. People want to help them. Life seems to flow effortlessly for them. Now, think about someone who can't catch a break. Everything they try fails. Problems follow them everywhere. It's like they're cursed. The difference isn't luck. The difference isn't talent. The difference is their energy signature. The lucky person is broadcasting abundance, confidence, and expectation of good things. The unlucky person is broadcasting lack, fear, and expectation of problems. And the universe is simply responding to their broadcasts. Now, I want to address something important. Some of you might be thinking, but what about all the bad things that happen to good people? What about tragedy and injustice? And that's a valid question. I'm not saying that everything that happens is your fault or that you can control every aspect of life. What I am saying is that your response to what happens determines what happens next. Your energy in this moment is creating your next moment. And let me give you a concrete example. Two people lose their jobs on the same day. One person goes into panic mode. They're broadcasting fear, worry, and scarcity. They're telling everyone how awful it is. They're focused entirely on what they've lost. The other person sees it as an opportunity. They're broadcasting excitement about new possibilities. They're focused on what they might gain. Which person do you think will find a better job faster? It's not about being delusional or ignoring reality. It's about choosing which aspect of reality you give your energy to. Because whatever you feed with your attention and emotion will grow. This is a law as fundamental as gravity. You can't change it. You can only learn to work with it. Right now, in this moment, you have more power than you realize. Your attention is creative. Whatever you focus on, you're literally calling into your experience. This isn't philosophy, this is physics. Quantum physicists have proven that the act of observation affects what is observed. Your attention is collapsing infinite possibilities into specific realities. But here's the problem. Most people's attention is hijacked. It's controlled by their phones, by the news, by other people's opinions, by their own habitual thoughts. They're creating by default instead of by design. They're like an artist who's painting while blindfolded, wondering why they don't like the picture. I want you to understand something. Every master who has ever lived understood this principle. They might have called it different names, they might have explained it different ways, but they all understood that consciousness is creative, that what you hold in your mind and heart with conviction will manifest in your life. The ancient philosophers knew this. Modern scientists are proving it. Successful people live it, whether they can explain it or not. The only question is, when are you going to start using it consciously? Let me break down what's really happening when you desire something. Desire is not lack. Desire is recognition. When you desire something, it's because that thing already exists in the field of possibility. You couldn't desire it if it didn't. It's like tuning into a radio station. You can only tune into stations that are broadcasting. Your desire is proof that what you want is available. But here's where most people mess up. They feel the desire and immediately go into lack. They think, I want that because I don't have it. And that thought, that feeling of not having becomes their dominant vibration. They're literally pushing away the very thing they want by focusing on not having it. The secret is to feel the desire and then shift into the feeling of already having it. Not as a trick or a technique, but as a recognition of truth. Because in the field of infinite possibility, you already have everything. It's just a matter of allowing it to manifest in your physical reality. This is why gratitude is so powerful. When you're truly grateful, you're in the energy of having. You're broadcasting abundance. You're telling the universe, I have so much. And the universe responds with, here's more. But when you're in complaint or resentment, you're broadcasting lack. You're telling the universe, I don't have enough. And the universe responds with, you're right. I need you to understand that this isn't about positive thinking. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect. This is about understanding how reality actually works. You are a creative being living in a responsive universe. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold is a creative act. You're literally sculpting your tomorrow with your consciousness today. Now, some of you might be wondering, if this is true, why isn't everyone rich and happy? And that's a great question. The answer is simple, because most people don't know this, and even those who do know it don't apply it consistently. They might try it for a day or a week, don't see immediate results, and go back to their old patterns. It's like going to the gym once and wondering why you don't have muscles yet. The universe responds to consistency. It responds to dominant vibration. One moment of positive thinking doesn't override years of negative programming. But consistent, focused attention on what you want to create will override any programming. Let me tell you about the time delay. This is crucial to understand. When you plant a seed, it doesn't become a tree overnight. There's a period where it's growing underground, where you can't see any progress. Most people give up during this period. They dig up the seed to see if it's growing, which kills it. They plant new seeds before the first ones have time to sprout. They're constantly starting over instead of allowing the process to unfold. The same thing happens with your intentions and desires. There's a time delay between when you shift your energy and when you see results in your physical reality. This time delay is actually a gift. It prevents every random thought from manifesting instantly. It gives you time to get clear on what you really want. It allows you to build the energetic momentum necessary for lasting change. But most people interpret this time delay as failure. They think it's not working. They go back to their old thoughts and feelings, which cancels out the new energy they were building. It's like turning on the heat in your house for 5 minutes, then turning it off and complaining that the house isn't warm.